All right, welcome to Weekend Series Reaction. I am your host, Stephen Willis, alongside Chris Muller. We're going to get into that in just a second, but I want to tell you right now about the Vault Society. That's the big push from the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. That's a 5-year commitment of support. Membership starts at $5,000 a year, and there's a benefit chart on the site. We're going to tell you that in just a second. The gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games. We got a pretty big one coming up Labor Day though on that one. That would be postseason bowl games, neutral site games. If you have any questions, you can go to give2athletics.com. Again, that is give2athletics.com. I also want to tell you a little bit about the rebelwalk.com. They do a fantastic job. Chris is just another member of the rebelwalk.com. Trevor Oxley has been on the show. We've had numerous people come by and do video hits from the Rebel Walk. So Evelyn and her team do a fantastic job. They provide a subscriber level experience for no money at all. All your investment is your time, and it's well worth it. So go to therebelwalk.com and check them out. Ole Miss went to Athens, took care of business. They're in position to host, which was the goal. They took 2 or 3 from Georgia. We're not really going to talk that much about yesterday's game. But how you doing, Chris?
Doing great, Steven. How are you doing this Sunday?
Oh, pretty good. Normally, this is not normally the time frame that people are used to, but some stuff came up and we had to push it back a little bit. But we're going to talk a little bit about the game. Doug Nikhazy had a fantastic opening night, career high in strikeouts, and just set the tone for that game and the Saturday game or Friday game.
Yeah, 13 strikeouts, huge for Doug. You know, a cool thing was he struck out 4 batters in 1 inning, which I tried to get some stats on that, and Ole Miss Sports Information was not able to provide any information about that. I don't know if it's been done in Ole Miss history, but it was really cool kind of to see that stat line go up. 7 really, really strong innings from Doug. Anytime Doug's out there, really our offense doesn't have to do a whole lot to be really successful, and they did enough on Thursday night, put up 2 runs, and that's really all we needed. Doug went 7, and then Taylor came in and pitched the last 2 innings, and signed, sealed, delivered. As some of the announcers were talking throughout the week, it really never felt that close. It really never felt like the game was in danger. And so Thursday night, it just felt like a typical Doug day, something that we go out there, we expect Doug to shove. He did. We expect Taylor to come in and close the game down. He did. And we expect our offense to put up, 2, 3, 4 runs. They did. And we took the game from Georgia. So good start to the weekend, and, really fun to watch Doug pitch, obviously.
Yes, and what I'm about to say is really nothing to do with Gunner, so nobody take it as I'm talking about Gunner in any way. But this team seems a lot more relaxed going through the weekend when they start with Doug as opposed to pitching him on Saturday.
Yeah, I think we saw that early in the year, too, when Doug was the Friday night guy. I think I know the reason that we went from Doug on Friday night to Gunner on Friday night was to give us that righty lefty look on the mound, so we didn't go righty on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, I just think that's Doug's personality. Anytime I've ever been around Doug, he's just really a loose guy, and really just I think the team feeds off that loose energy as well.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing about Thursday was Elko drew his first start from his ACL tear. So that was really important, I think, from a psychological standpoint of the team to see their captain back in that DH role, which was really cool to me. I really didn't know how that was going to work if he got on base, but then he got on base on Friday night, and Bianco left him out there to run, and he tried to go first to third. It was a foul ball, but it was kind of nice to see him kind of stretch the legs out a little bit and do that. So Elko starting on Thursday night was another really cool story for me.
Yes, and we'll just flip it over to Friday night. Has that home run he hit landed yet? I don't know.
Derek Diamond's mom said it did land successfully out in California. So that's a pretty cool comment from Nancy.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a person hit a ball that far in all my time of watching Ole Miss baseball. I honestly didn't. I just didn't see it land. It went so far into the trees and just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, the Georgia announcers, I think, when on their home run call, they just said the score is now tied. There was no other commentary, and then on Saturday they called the home run majestic, and I would kind of agree with that. It was an absolute shot. Ole Miss baseball tweeted out and asked if you needed more than, or if one ACL on a person's enough, and Tim Elko said yes, it was. He confirmed.
We go ahead.
That was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Obviously, Jacob Gonzalez continues to impress from a freshman standpoint. Big home run, solo home run in the fourth, and then the eighth inning was just really huge for us. You know, this team just never seems to get down on themselves. Entering the eighth inning, we were down 5-1, which, you know, that's a pretty big deficit going into the final couple of innings. But the big Graham home run, a 3-run shot, was really huge. His 12th of the year, and then we talked about the no doubter from Tim Elko, his second shot since returning from the ACL injury.
Yeah, I have no doubts that between T.J. McCants and Jacob Gonzalez, Ole Miss has the best pair of freshmen in the SEC. Whether or not one of them is the best freshman in the SEC, that's another thing to say. The only other team that could actually have an argument would probably be LSU with Dylan Cruz and the kid on first base. I can't remember his name right now.
Trey Morgan.
Trey Morgan. I mean, that's an excellent freshman tandem as well. But I mean, that's a pretty neat matchup.
Uh, no doubt. I think that between Gonzalez and McCants, it's just so special to watch those guys play, and I'm so happy that we were able to find a spot for TJ in the lineup. I can't imagine what this would be like without TJ in the lineup for us. He just brings so much energy, so much poise for a freshman. Draft eligible sophomore next year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of next year with TJ. And then Kevin Graham, again, just, you know, he's just that guy that continues to perform at a really high level. 3 for 6 on Friday night, and he's really our unsung hero. 4 RBIs. I don't think he gets the publicity that he deserves, but just really continues to go out day after day and really perform.
Yeah, and it's also you're seeing with Elko getting inserted back into the lineup how big of a role protecting him behind as far as pitching goes actually was. So it's starting to come back into clear, and he's starting to catch fire at the right time. Let's move on to Saturday. Peyton Chatagnier, home run. Is this the thing that gets him going a little bit?
Boy, we hope so. I think that if Peyton can find that spark that he had early in the season, it can really propel us, and I think it's really necessary moving into the postseason for Peyton to really get it going. And I think if he can, you know, it was just one thing, but I think that often in baseball we find that just that one spark can really turn players slumps around, players perspectives around. So I'm really hopeful that was the spark that gets things going for Peyton.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize when it comes to athletics, and especially like college athletics where amateurs are out there, people read their press clippings and it has an effect. If you get on a player and tell him over and over something has happened, that player will eventually believe you. And so it's very careful and we need him to come out of this slump, and we need people not to pile on when he's not doing that well.
Yeah, I mean, I think our players are really cognizant, and they really feed off of a lot of the energy from our fan base. So the more positive that we can be as fans with our players and on the internet, Twitter, Facebook, everything else like that, the more energy they're going to get from us, and the better off they're going to be overall.
Yeah, I think it's a good mindset, especially on social media. Have fun. Just do that. It might aggravate other fan bases, but it's going to help your team, and it's going to be fun within the fan base, and you're going to have a good time as well.
Yeah, and that's what sports is all about, right? For us fans, it's a distraction from our everyday lives, and we just need to treat it like that. These guys are going out there and they're giving their all for the name on the front of the jersey, which is Ole Miss, and it's really important for us to get behind them and support them as best we can.
Yeah. How about Brandon Johnson this weekend? We talked about it in the preview, then it happened. How about his performance this weekend?
Yeah, really good. I think that's another bridge. We've talked about the bridge to Broadway a number of times on this show, And I think Johnson can really be that bridge to Broadway when in those middle innings, when, for example, Derek Diamond gets bounced like in the fifth or sixth inning, and we can't put Broadway in quite yet to shut things down. Johnson can absolutely be that bridge, and he can really soak up a lot of innings over the course of a weekend. And we're here now. We're at the postseason, and it's a whole different ball game. It's the first weekend of regionals is not win 2 games and call it good. We've got to find a way to win 3 games over the course of a weekend, or even 4 games if something were to happen and we were to lose one. So it's really important for us to look at that and to figure out where we can find those bridges from the starter to Broadway.
Also, I am a little bit concerned. Georgia had a lot of lefties on their pitching staff. We took 2 or 3, but there was some effectiveness that affected some confidence later on as the series went on at the plate. We had a couple of big innings, but it is something to be concerned about, I think, especially in that 1-4 game coming up in the regional.
Yeah, the 1-4 game is really going to be interesting for me, especially to see who we throw from a pitching perspective. Nobody's really asked Coach Bianco that yet, and I'm certainly not going to be that guy. But do we throw Doug in the 1-4, or do we throw Doug on Saturday of a regional? And it just continues to I continue to go back and forth. Do we get that game 1 win and move on to Saturday and roll with what we have, or do we throw out a Derek Diamond on Friday night and hope we get the job done in that 1-4 game, and then move on to that 1-2 or 1-3 game and go from there? I don't have the answer. I don't have the Sharpie, so I'm not going to make that call. I do know that Mike has done that before, and I believe that it was not successful in the year that he did that, where he moved the Friday guy to Saturday of the regional. So we'll see. Obviously, different year, different mindset. So it's those guys will get together. Him and Laugh will get together and try to figure out what to do. But obviously, the SEC tournament's this week, so I think that's the next thing to look at. We start on Tuesday. We got the 5 seed, which is fine. It is the late game on Tuesday night, which is kind of a weird thing.
Thoughts and prayers.
Say again?
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, there's no telling what time that game is going to start. I think the 3rd game at Hoover is scheduled to start at 4:30. So theoretically, that puts us around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Good luck with that. I encourage everybody to put a late pot of coffee on and be ready and hang in there for a number of hours. I've not really stayed up and watched that late game too much, but I've seen all kinds of LSU conga lines and various different things going on at the SEC tournament. So things get crazy. Hoover after dark is kind of a crazy thing, much like the Pac-12 after dark in football. We are playing Auburn. We did sweep Auburn earlier in the year to start off the SEC campaign for us. So that's a feather in our cap. Auburn has been playing better of late. They're 5-4 in their last 9 games. They've taken the last 2 or 3 series, and they are going to throw Jack Owen on short rest. So he was the guy that pitched on Thursday night against Missouri for them. He went 6.2 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. So looks like a guy that's around the plate quite a bit. So it'll be really interesting to see what we're able to do with Owen, as well as who we start. Mike announced the starter as the traditional TBA, which is what he's done the last several weeks for the Tuesday starter. Mallets didn't pitch this weekend, so I can kind of expect him to be out there early on and then just see where it goes. I'm really not concerned about our performance in the SEC tournament. Mm-hmm. I do think we've locked down the host seed. I don't think the postseason tournament matters all that much when we've got our 18 wins already in the books. However, if we went really far in the tournament, I could see it moving us up in the standings a little bit. But I'd really rather us look forward to the road to Omaha rather than see what we could do in Hoover. Playing that extra game on Tuesday really does make a difference.
Do you happen to know what our RPI is at the moment?
I don't. I would imagine it's somewhere in that 9 to 12 range, which is what we were at last week.
I just wonder if it's far enough away that no matter what we do in Hoover, if we won the whole thing, would it be enough to give us a national seed? Because if that's not the answer, I mean, we've already locked down hosting. If we can't get a national seed, at that point, it's just save arms, right?
Exactly, and I think that one thing that I don't really care where we end up in Hoover. I would like to see us win Tuesday's game and get Doug a start. I think Doug's got an opportunity now to join a really elite club, 10 wins and 100 strikeouts. And I think Hoover's going to be really critical to try to get him to that. He's at 8 wins right now, so if he can get a win in Hoover, that gets him to 9, and then a win in the regional gets him to 10. Hopefully we get to the Super Regional and College World Series. If we're able to get that far, it's a done deal for Doug to join that club. I think there's only 2 other pitchers in the club.
And I think if we get past Auburn, there's a potential rematch with Vanderbilt waiting for us.
I believe that's correct.
What does Corbin normally do with these SEC tournaments? Would he save Jack Leiter and Kumar until a little bit later in the weekend, or how does that normally work?
Gosh, I would. If I have the opportunity to save my pitchers till Thursday and Friday, I'm sure going to do that. That would be normal rest for Kumar and for Jack Leiter.
Yeah.
So they obviously everybody played Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend. So I wouldn't trot anybody out there on Wednesday if I'm Corbin.
Also, before we get out of here, Rob Childress at Texas A&M not retained, contract not renewed, and there might be a little bit of an interest on the Oxford side, I hear.
Yep. So I've got a little bit of a source down in College Station, a good friend of Mike Clement. He indicated to me that Mike probably was going to be Ross's first call. So we'll see where that leads us, see where that takes us. But obviously, would be a great opportunity for Mike Clement. I know Mike's family is from the Bryan College Station area, so it would be a good opportunity for them to return to a place that they've been before. So we'll see what happens. College athletics is a little crazy. A&M obviously has a ton of money, and the difference between an assistant coach's salary and a head coach's salary in the SEC is significant. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, and we will cover tomorrow on the Palmcast. Tune in for that. The reports coming out that Ole Miss is prepared to hire the offensive line coach Jake Thornton from Gardner-Webb, an FCS guy. He was with Lane at Alabama with him and Wilson Love. There was a little bit of a triumvirate there. And a good GA, seriously. People are going to see that. But a good GA is heavily involved in the X's and O's and are usually the first look at an eval. So there's experience that is gained from that and why they build up. Any thoughts about that offensive line hire, Chris?
I'm excited. The end of baseball really rolls into the beginning of football, so I'm really pumped up for Rebel football this year. I think it's going to be a great year for us. I'm excited. I know the rest of the fan base is excited. The Grove's going to be open this year. Everything's looking to return to normal, and so I'm just really excited. I can't wait for football season to get here. I think we're right around 100 days is what I heard the other day on the radio. So just really excited. Can't wait to see what we're able to put on the field. And obviously a new offensive line coach is going to bring a lot of energy to that position.
Yeah, I think we're at 102 days tomorrow because we play on Monday night. So it should be a lot of fun. But anyway, that is the weekend series reaction. Thank you very much, Chris. And enjoy this, and we're going to do a preview earlier, probably in Tuesday, and whenever this ends, we're going to try to get together to do a SEC tournament reaction and do the same thing kind of for the regional reaction. So this is far from over, but the schedule becomes a lot less set moving forward.
Yep, I'm excited. SEC tournament looks to be a blast, always is. The announcers are going to be in person, which they're really excited about. Kyle Peterson was on SEC Now yesterday, and he's jacked to get to Hoover. I know Ben McDonald's going to be down there, so it's going to be just as exciting for them as it is for the fans. So really excited, and the teams really excited about Hoover, and really excited moving forward. It's the postseason's here, so it's time to party.
Let's do it. All right, for Chris, I'm Steve. This has been Weekend Series Reaction, and we'll see you next time. And as of course, hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.